Okay everybody, so in today's video I'm going to be opening up this Lansky sharpening system, and I'm going to attempt to make this old crappy buck. This is not actually a buck knife, but it's actually a fake buck from Taiwan that hasn't been very sharp in quite a while. I've tried to sharpen it a couple different ways with a couple of different sharpening systems, and it's just really not there at all. As you can see here, trying to cut the paper, it just screws it all up and just tears it. So it's really not sharp for crap. I'm going to try to make it sharp using this. Let's see how that works. So the first thing I'm going to do is unpackage everything. And I'm going to start with the this has 3 different sharpening stones, a 120, a 280, and a 600. I'm going to start with the most coarse stone first. That is the 120. And this is a pretty straightforward, let me get this thing completely out of the box. This is a pretty straightforward sharpening system. It's not very difficult to use. Essentially what you do is you just take one of these bars here and attach it to your stone, if I can get it out of the box. Attach it to your stone with this little tightening screw. But one thing you want to make sure of, however, when you're attaching this, is that it's level with the stone. So put it on something flat, make sure it's level with the stone, and then snug it down. You want to get this nice and straight in this direction as well. So straighten that out as you're tightening it. And once this is tight, this is a pretty straightforward system to use. Oh, it comes with a couple little extra things. I think I may have to go get a screwdriver for this, so I'll have to show you that in a moment. But essentially what you do is just clamp the knife blade down in here, and then actually, yeah, I think I can loosen this a little bit with my fingernail to show you, or use this crappy old knife blade to do it. I wouldn't do this with something that was a good blade, obviously. But this is not a good blade, so I'm not too terribly concerned. Like I said, it's an old junky buck wannabe knife blade. I do have an actual real buck, so I wouldn't do it with that, but this one, who cares? Another thing you may want to do is put a little tape on this contact surface here if you don't want it to scratch your blade up. Again, I'm not too worried about this one. But as you can see, I've got it clamped into position now. The next thing you do is decide what angle you want to grind at. It's got one for 30 degrees, 25, 20, and 17. I think I'm going to go with 20 degrees, just because I want it to be a nice sharp blade. If you wanted it to be sharper, you would go with the 17. If you wanted it to be a more durable edge, you want to go with 25 or 30. So it really just depends on what you want out of your blade. So I'm going to go right in the middle of the 20. That's going to get it nice and sharp, but will be a somewhat durable blade. Once you've got it in everything in position, this system is really easy to use. All you do is just kind of rub it down the blade like so. Now what you're going to want to do is, obviously this is going to take a little while because I need to reprofile my bevel, is what's going to be happening with this coarser stone. So I'm over top of my bed. I'm going to go somewhere else and do this. I just wanted to show you the video. But I'm going to reprofile my blade. Then I'm going to flip over to the other side, also stick it in the 20-degree setting, and then make sure I'm keeping the bevel centered by looking down the edge of the blade like so, making sure everything remains centered. So I'm going to do that with this stone, and then work my way up to the progressively finer stones. And this honing oil, from what I understand, you use this to actually clean out the stones if they get clogged up with a little bit of stuff. It has your instructions in here as well. It doesn't really say anything in regards to the oil, but I'm sure there's more instructions online as well. But I am going to go ahead and try to sharpen this thing up and see what we've got. So, as I think you can see here, I've reprofiled my blade. Gotten it looking quite a bit better than it was before. I didn't get a close-up shot of it before, so I guess you really don't have anything compared to. But it was looking pretty rough. Now I've got it pretty much reprofiled at the new angle. And I'm going to do the same thing, but take my next fine stone. I think I started with, let me see, get my numbers right. I started with a 120, and this is a 280 that I'm going to now. So it's going to be the same procedure. Place it in whatever angle you'd like to use. This is terrible. Let me refocus this camera a little bit. All right, that's better. Okay, so same story. I actually just looked at the instruction manual and it said to go in a motion like this when you're sharpening it. So I'm going to go to this next finer stone and work out the grooves and everything from that coarse stone that I was just using. You'll be able to look at the blade and see that the coarseness is polishing out of the actual bevel on the blade. It may take a little while because, you know, that was pretty coarse, the one that I used before, but I think it took maybe about 20 minutes to reprofile the edge. I would expect to spend about the same amount of time on this, so maybe do it while you're just kind of watching TV or something like that. Make sure you're paying attention to what you're doing, obviously, but maybe do it while, you know, doing something else as well. So I'm going to work this stone, then move up to the next stone. Okay, here's another quick little tip for you. If you're having trouble determining whether or not you've got your blade reprofiled properly, you can take a bit of Sharpie and just put it right on the edge of the bevel. Come back with your stone, hit it a few times, and you'll see where it's actually wiping, I'm sorry, you can't really see that, where it's actually wiping the Sharpie off the blade. And if it's not wiping the whole Sharpie off the blade, as you can see this is not, then that means you've not successfully reprofiled your blade and you need to keep at it. So that's just a quick tip that I wanted to share with you guys. That way, if you need to re-angle your blade, reprofile it the way I need to, this will kind of help you out knowing whether or not you've achieved that goal.